All right, Tommy Cowett here, the real alien Tom from Outerspace Landscape. Back with you for an exciting episode, and this is about cutting back pampass grass, or miscanthus, some of these ornamental grasses. I could show you what we've done here. These things get really large. This was a miscanthus. So you could see the inside of it dies out. Now you could take a chunk off of the outside and actually cut some of that core out and place another one in the middle. I like to use a reciprocating saw for that. But this is what it looks like after it's been cut back. And we've got some guys down here. The way we do this is miscanthus, is I like to bungee these guys up with a bungee cord so it looks like an onion. Then we'll use a nice blade with the trimmer to cut it. It cuts really nice and easy, and then I'll end up with my onions, and I'll take them, load them on the back of the truck, and I'll use this stuff to mulch some areas at my house and let it break down over time. It really makes a great cover, good mulch. But we're going to be doing some pruning over here. Actually, I'm going to show you a few weird problems going on with some plants, as well as some planting tips, and then we're going to prune some of these plants back and give you a little idea of what we do. So let's get started. Be back with you in a moment. Okay, we're back with you. Here we are. And we got these little onion balls cut down pretty good. And I'm just trying to clean up a little bit. They'll flush back out pretty good. This is what I want to show you up here. This is a different animal. This is a pampass grass. Very large one. These things can get huge, and they're really difficult to dig out if you want to remove this thing. They are beautiful and were really overplanted back in like the 90s, 80s, and 90s when they really took off. But I'm sure when we get down in the bottom of this, we'll see that the whole inside is just probably dead. So, and you also want to wear long sleeves when you're dealing with this, because these leaf blades are very sharp and have a serrated edge. I don't know if you could see that edge on there. That will rip you. So, gloves, safety goggles, long pants, long shirt to cut this thing down. Alright, let's get started on this guy. Okay, so here it is. Look how big this thing is. That's got to be at least 12 feet across. And as I said, the whole inside's died out. When you don't cut these things back every year, this is what happens. They end up spreading out, and the inside dies out of it. It's really, you don't really notice it when they get huge, but you know, that's the nature of this beast. And I don't think there's very many people planting these anymore. Most people want to get rid of them. They really are a lot of work to clean up. Those miscanthus didn't take long at all to clean up. They were, you know, just a few minutes and boom, the onion was up and out. Anyway, here's the onions from the pampass grass. I'm going to be real careful loading the truck up and unloading it. And I'll probably do a little more cleanup on this guy. Next thing I want to move on to is these shrub beds. As you can see, this was a new planting. Laura petalum and some back in the back. It's a little after 12 noon here. The camellias have not received any sunshine at all yet today. They're just now getting some. But I noticed about a month ago when I first visited this property, these camellias are in bad shape. They look like they're flushing out pretty good. They may be getting too much afternoon sun, which is a no-no. A camellia likes to rest. Now, these Laura petalums are getting out of hand, too. I like the spirea. They're doing fine. But you could see some of these plants are chlorotic. They're showing some lackluster growth. Others are doing well or over too much. Now, I want to talk about the mulch here. It's too deep. It's got to be about 8 inches of mulch. And underneath that mulch is a layer of plastic, which I don't subscribe to that anymore. I think mulch does the job for weed control just fine. And these little camellias back here are smothering from the mulch as well as the plastic. So what we're going to do first is cut that plastic away from these plants. And I'll get in here and show you that in just a moment. All right. Tommy Cowett, the Real Alien Tom, back with you. And I wanted to show you these camellias and what might be going wrong with them. In fact, I'm almost positive of what the problem was. The root flares on these were buried in about 6 inches of mulch. And even down in there, move some of this mulch back, show you something else we'll find. As I found on the other one, someone also installed this little piece of fabric. As you can see there, you cannot see the root flare, and this thing's wrapped around it, and this is just strangling this tree. And these trees were struggling. Last time I saw them, they were chlorotic. Ooh, I just cut myself. But you really want to plant at that soil level. You can make a little water well. These guys are on drip. But, and go ahead and remove the tag, too. Because, see, that was all causing a little problem there. It was girdling the tree a little bit. As you can see on that right there. But, you know, these are some of the things you want to do. I like to cover these roots, and I don't like to use any of this fabric, or this is, in this case, this is just a cardboard. Ooh, got a little cut, but it's almost certain to me that these guys were struggling here, suffocated under this mulch, and you don't need a plant like that. They were under a lot of stress. Of course, now they're in full sun for the rest of the day, and camellias certainly do like some shade. So that's another reason why I don't think it's an ideal situation here for them. But you can see the autoleucon laurels are also struggling a little bit. So I've got to say, this probably has something to do with how they were planted in the mulch. We already did a little bit of pruning on these loropetalums and the spireas just to keep them down to a decent height. But I just suspect that these guys were kind of planted too deep. They actually weren't planted too deep. They were mulched over too deep. And that's led to a little problem with them. All right, signing out. Hope this was helpful.